Well, we are back in the after party here, and it's always nice to not just have Richard, but we've got all kinds of people on here. Albert, thanks for the great content, man. I thanks for saying that. We really appreciate you joining, Albert, and participating. And Ryan and Jenny, it's great to hear from you all as well. And so we've got a lot of people on, and we'll kind of go through some questions. But I thought I would kind of kick things off by looking at some of the content, Richard, and people want to better understand this avatar thing you mentioned at the beginning. Like, why did you create this avatar? I know you said that you've NoteSchool is the one that kind of trained you in how to figure out who that is, but why is this avatar the way it is? How did you come up with that?
It was the lowest hanging fruit in a way, in that,
yeah.
And I was of that category, so it was people that I could deal with. I have to say that I've had to spread it a little bit more or increase it, Brian, the more I've gone online. But what does that mean? That means that the income requirements have stayed the same, the savings requirements, but the crowd's becoming younger. I'm getting more and more 35 and 40-year-old investors who are just calling me because they see my stuff on YouTube, and they come to me educated, which I think is interested.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really fascinating about that comment is there's a whole new group of investors who just got an education in what owning a rental property is really like. And this burnout landlord category that we've been talking about for months now it's that perfect person that's going to fit that avatar, right? And so our audience is actually growing as this situation develops in our country, right? Joe, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Joe.
Sorry, Richard, you go ahead.
What I was just going to say is one of the things I like to ask people in a nice way is how long did it take you to determine that your passive income wasn't? In other words, it wasn't passive. You were doing a lot of work to generate that income from your rental. So go ahead, Joe.
Well, and I hope everybody got the point of all of this. So Richard buys a note for $31,000. He sells a piece of it and makes $3,000 in today money, and he's got all of his money back, right? He's got every dime of his money back, $3,000 in his pocket. Then he has 126 payments, almost 12 years out, that he has $0 in of $348 a month. That in itself is amazing, and I just want to make sure everybody got that. And our good friend Melvin is on today with us as well. He's a good friend of you, brand new NoteSchool student, Mel.
Yeah, and there's another comment from Ken George, and I want Eddie to answer this because I know how Eddie's going to say it, and I just love to hear it. But Eddie, Ken wants to know: do you have to have a mortgage license?
Yeah. So if I'm going to buy a note, and sell a note, now I'm not saying that I'm going to broker a note or flip a note. Right? Richard's in the state of California, and if you do more than 8 a year, you are going to need a license to flip notes and make fee income. But if you're going to buy and resell, Brian, I've got a driver's license and a fishing license, but I don't have a note reselling license.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard you answer that question, you said you need a driver's license, a hunting license, and a fishing license, and these last two are optional. Right?
Well, I got to be politically correct. I do have a hunting license, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I love that. And obviously we've even got people chiming in the comments as well, even answering the questions for us as well. Bumbling Bee Homestead even says NoteSchool is worth every penny if you want to learn how to do note investing. That's awesome. Obviously to hear, and that's it's very encouraging, right? To have you jump on here. Another question here, man, they're coming in so fast here. Out of all the marketing sites, as far as how you're doing your marketing, how are you generating these leads? What are some marketing pieces that you could speak to?
So, Albert, I think that's one of the interesting things that I have learned, which is I'm not really using any marketing sites. I've got somebody who posts for me on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media every week, matter three times a week. But the biggest thing is to have my own channel for American Note Capital on YouTube and have content up there and to keep adding it and to put all the tags in there and the keywords. And as you do that, people will find you because there's a program called Keywords Everywhere. And you can download that for free. And there's a very simple process that you can go through where you can locate what the keywords are. You put those as tags in your videos. And then when people search for those, they find you and your videos show up. So they're actually educated by the time they come to me, which makes my sales process much easier. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to have a YouTube channel. And so that's something I would recommend to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Wayne Garrett's on here saying that your website encouraged him to go out and take action, right? Create his own website. Exactly what you're talking about. Put in those little steps that are actually going to create huge leaps in your business. Aldo's also saying, this partial selling strategy and then rolling over the investment capital over and over is brilliant. It's the BRRRR strategy of the note business. Eddie, this thing you're teaching, it might be a thing. It might be a real thing.
I like it. Aldo, yes. That's what I'm wanting you to get the picture of. This is this business is rinse and repeat. That's what Richard's doing. He's rinsing and repeating, and so people think you got to have $1 zillion to be in this business. You have to have $1 zillion idea, right, Richard? You don't have to have $1 zillion. You just have to have $1 zillion idea. We get paid the most in this business to be creative.
Yep.
Right, to figure out the pieces of the puzzle. And that's one of the things I was trying to convey earlier, which is in my commercial business, the commercial business is fun and can be very profitable, but there's not a lot of flexibility in this. And as you well know, there's a gazillion ways to solve one of the problems that come before us. And I like that. I like that juggling and I like that flexibility.
Yeah. I think a lot of investors, no matter how they got into the real estate space, we all really want the same thing, right? We want the good pieces, right? The cash flow, the return on investment, but we want to take away the bad. And a lot of people just don't understand, or maybe they haven't been introduced to kind of what Eddie teaches in the fact that with notes, you can keep the good. And in fact, with what you're doing with partials, Richard, you get really, really good, right? But you don't have to deal with a lot of the risks that can come with the tenants and the toilets and that kind of stuff. And so it becomes this perfect storm that really allows the investor to say, man, this is when I got into real estate, I thought I wanted this thing, but really what I wanted was essentially what notes are, which is allowing you to keep the good pieces and pull away the bad. And that is, that's a really, really big deal.
And by the way, Brian, for our the nice lady that was talking about the class, our next class is April 15th, 16th, and 17th. So check it out. That is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, by the way. We know that. So
That's
Brian,
awesome.
why don't we wrap it up and we'll call it a show.
You got it. You got it. Well, Richard, hey, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's always good to see you. And I love kind of you sharing your experience. It's going to be encouraging to a lot of other note investors. Eddie and Joe, it's always a pleasure. Glad to see you here. We'll see you two next Wednesday as we jump back onto NoteSchool TV and try to bring you note investors the best content we possibly can. If you missed the show, make sure you go ahead and leave us a comment anyway. We're definitely going to follow up on these comments. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or something else, drop a line to us. We'd love to connect with you, even if you missed the show. Otherwise, we'll see everybody next Wednesday on the other side.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Eddie.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.